Okay, so there's a border rule change happening in Europe right now, and I need to walk you through it because most travelers have absolutely no idea that this is coming. And here's the problem, nobody's announcing this change in a way that actually reaches you. Airlines don't mention it when you book your flight. There's no email alerts. You just show up at the airport the day of your flight, and suddenly everything feels different. The lines are moving slower, and you're standing there wondering what the hell changed. Sorry for that language. So, before you book your next trip to Europe, let me explain what's really happening, why it matters, and what you actually need to do about it. For decades, the process was simple. You can attest to that. You flew into Europe, you handed over your passport, you got a stamp, maybe answered a couple of questions, and you were through the immigration line. That system is ending soon. What's replacing it is called the Entry Exit System, EES. Europe is moving from passport stamps to a fully digital border system. Instead of the usual stamp, your entry and exit get recorded electronically. Your travel history gets tracked automatically across the entire Schengen zone. And the first time you enter, after this goes live, you are given biometrics. This means fingerprints and a facial scan that get tied specifically to your passport number. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Wait, I didn't sign up for fingerprints. Yeah, I get it. But this is not optional. This is the new system and it's already rolling out right now. And there is nothing you or I can do about it. The EU expects it to be fully operational by late 2026, but it's happening airport by airport, border by border, which means that we are in the messy transition phase. Some airports are ready, some aren't. Some border officers are fully trained, some aren't. And that's where delays and confusion come in. Here's what nobody's explaining clearly enough to you. This system is designed to automatically detect overstays. In the past, overstaying in Europe relied on stamps and manual checks. Officers had to physically flip through your passport and count the days that you were in the country. Now the system does it electronically. It knows exactly when you entered and exactly when you left and how many days you have used up in your allowed number of days. So, if you're someone who used to loosely count your days in the Schengen zone, or you thought, yeah, this is close enough, that habit is about to get really expensive. The system calculates it for you now, and there's no wiggle room in any of that. And here's the thing that people aren't prepared for. First entry friction. The very first time that you enter Europe under EES, that's when everything takes longer. That's when they collect your biometrics. That's when they're verifying your identity against the system that they have in place. And that's when questions might take 3 times as long as they used to. After that first entry period, yeah, future trips should theoretically be faster because you're already in the system. But that first time that you travel to Europe with these changes, that's the bottleneck. So if you're planning a cruise that leaves from Barcelona the same day you land, or you've got a tight connection in Paris, or you're flying in for a wedding with no buffer time, you need to account for this time. Let me be clear about what this is and what it isn't. This does not mean Europe is unsafe. This does not mean you shouldn't travel. And this does not mean that you're being singled out personally. No, it's for everybody across the board. This is about control and enforcement. Borders are getting stricter everywhere in the world. Europe is just catching up to systems that other regions already are using. But the travelers who don't prepare are the ones who end up dealing with stress, delays, confusion, and problems that could have been avoided. Another thing that you need to watch out for, and this is important, fake websites. Whenever new travel rules roll out, scammers jump on the bandwagon. They create official-looking sites that charge fake entry fees. They steal your personal information or trick you into thinking that you need to pre-register through them. Here's your rule. If a website is pressuring you to act now, pay immediately, or threaten that You'll be denied entry if you don't use their service. Don't get caught in all of that. Real government systems don't operate that way. They don't create urgency or fear. If something feels off, it probably is. So just be aware of all of that. Now, let me be clear. Let me clear up something, like some confusion, because there's another system that people keep confusing EES with. You might have heard about ETIAS, which is the European Travel Information and Authorization System. That's entirely separate from the EES. ETIAS is a travel authorization that you'll eventually need to apply for before traveling to Europe. It's kind of similar to the US ESTA system, but ETIAS depends on EES being fully operational first before it's rolled out. This means that the ETIAS is not live yet. It's going to launch about later this year, possibly toward the end of 2026. But EES tracking system is what's rolling out right now. So if someone tells you you need to apply before traveling, make sure you know which system they're talking about. Confusion is how mistakes happen. And mistakes at borders don't come with refunds. So here's what I want you to walk away with. This isn't about fear. This is about preparation. First, give yourself way more time at airports when you're traveling to Europe, especially during this transition period of the EES. If you used to show up 2 hours early for an international flight, make it 3 hours, 4 hours if you can. If you've got a connection, don't book anything tighter than 3 hours. Early arrival will be your insurance policy. Second, you're going to check your passport condition. I'm serious about this one. Automated systems do not like damaged pages, loose covers, water damage, or anything looking questionable on your passport. In the past, a human officer might have let it slide, but a machine will not. If your passport's been through the wash, or through the ringer, as they would say, if the cover is separating, if there's any weird wear and tear mark, get it replaced with a new passport before your trip. Third, you're going to track your travel history properly. Know your exact entry and exit dates for the Schengen zone. Do not guess. Don't rely on memory. Don't assume. The system is tracking you now. So you need to track yourself so that you both can be on the same page. If you're someone who bounces in and out of Europe regularly, start keeping a spreadsheet. Or I'm serious, or use an app that calculates your 90 in 180 days for you. Fourth, and this is the big one, stop assuming that the way it's always been still applies. That's how most travel problems happen. Not because someone did something reckless, but because they did not know that something had changed. The rules shifted, enforcement changed, and they showed up expecting the old system. Travel rules change quietly. Enforcement changes loudly. And you don't want to be the person learning about new systems while you're standing in line at the airport with 100 people behind you and the border officer who doesn't have time to explain anything to you. Look, the best travelers aren't the ones who've been to the most countries. They are the ones who stay informed before things surprise them. And as we move deeper into 2026, there are going to be more changes, and not fewer ones at that. So you better be prepared. I'm going to keep breaking these down for you as they happen, calmly, clearly, without drama, so that you can travel smart and avoid unnecessary stress. If this video was helpful, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I'm going to be covering every update as the system rolls out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Safe.